welcome at the Radio Worldwide Show. It's an honor and a privilege for us to have you on the show today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate you guys having me on. It was great to meet you.
Hawk, can you please tell our audience who's the Hawk and how did you get involved with all the South African issues?
Well, if people don't know, the Hawk was born in Durban, KwaZulu-Natal, many years ago. I immigrated to the States in '96 after winning a green card. I went to the Middle East for 10 years with the U.S. soldiers as a contractor. Met a lot of South Africans over there who told me what was going on. But it wasn't until I came back home that I got a call from family members stating that there was issues going on in South Africa and could have helped. And when I saw that story about the 3-year-old or the 2-year-old little girl that was crucified on the table and raped, and her parents or her dad eyes were cut open, so he had to look. His eyelids. That was it for me. I started this campaign to fight this genocide that's happening in South Africa.
This a bigger plan. My personal feeling is that Malema and Ramaphosa, all of them are just, it's a game of chess. Somebody is moving them around. And I personally think it's the Illuminati. All they want to do is they want to make this country ungovernable so that somebody can come in and say, look, we're the saviors and we're going to save you all. What do you personally think? Do you think this is moving somewhere? Do you think it's only threats to get votes? Because this is a dangerous game. You can, you saw on the latest Facebook what people and children do with a decoder. And they're using firearms, and this is in a small little way. That's the decoder. It's not somebody that deliberately is gonna walk into my property and then try and harm me or my family.
Well, if nobody's aware, and I hope the EFF members that are being duped into this stupid game of lying will find out the day after the elections that Malema was the ANC all along. The ANC, the EFF, and the BLF are the ANC. It's a no-brainer. The Absa Bank of Britain is the one that is funding them. There's enough documentation to prove that they are getting direct funds from the Absa Bank. They are funded by Britain. You got to understand, when you get gold out of the ground in South Africa, it costs $100 for an ounce of gold. $100. That's the cost. So you keep your economy at a level that they can extract the gold for $100 and sell it on the stock market between $1,200 and $1,500 an ounce. And the same with silver, coal, you name it. That's how they do it. They keep your economy at such a bad rate that it's easy to use you guys as slaves to get what they want. Now, the problem what's happened is with the electrical system crashing, that's affecting people's money because the mines can't run 24/7, and it becomes an infrastructure problem. Railways don't work, stuff can't be shipped, you name it. So, as for the Illuminati, well, one never knows. You got to realize the Illuminati is the central banks. Ramaphosa is just a pawn in a big game of stuff. The only way you beat something like that is to vote them out. Vote the parasite off your land. And now I'm talking to everybody. I'm talking to blacks as well. You got to realize, no matter how we look at this mess, black people and white people and Indians and colored people have to live together. You're all born on the same land, under the same sky, then you're all Africans. And you've all been Africans since 1652. And that's the way it is. It is what it is. Call me whatever. But the reality is reality. So, the only way to fix this problem is to join forces as one nation and find a way to get rid of these parasites. Now, Andile Masatama and Julius Malema and Cyril Ramaphosa, are just pawns. And they all day playing games and pointing fingers at white people and blaming white people after 25 years. And now Malema is running around building one house, and everybody thinks he's a hero. And somehow he got hold of a helicopter, and then he got hold of a plow or a tractor, and now they think he's great. It's all a game. Ramaphosa will still be the president, and he will be some kind of vice president or something. Malema and Andila will probably be put in jail or killed, or something will happen to him. But you got to realize this whole thing is just a stupid game. As for the whites in South Africa and the Indians and colored, stand up. Stand up and be counted. Because if you don't, you'll just be run over. Demand your rights as a human rights, because you've got human rights, and that's a fact. The fact is, it's a human rights violation to take a man's land and not pay him. It's a human rights violation not to give him a job because of the color of his skin. It's a human rights violation called apartheid, and they did it again. So now the boot's on the other foot, and what the black government in South Africa is doing is literally apartheid. They've got 164 laws limiting minorities getting a job. They even have signs that say no white people allowed. Well, doesn't that sound familiar?
I think a question that the audience would like to know is, we all heard, and I must say, we're not scared, really. There's lots of movement and underground movement, and this I state categorically, and anybody can call me. I will stick to my guns on the fact that it's not all quiet, but we all know that it's mission impossible. It's really mission impossible. Even if we only have one party that we vote for, we still will not be able to get back what we had. I think all of us want to know. I felt glad when I heard that Donald Trump is going to get a letter from Steve and Key that state the facts. People like you backing us, which we're very glad for. But we all waited for the Donald Trump to say, like, this is it. Send in a peace force, or let's go and at least monitor. Let's see what is happening and investigate with the useless police force. And that I also state, I'm an ex-policeman, and I left the force as a specialist instructor. I left when they started off with talks about trying to do things differently. And we all know where the current SAP is. It's not SAP, it's SAP S. Can you tell us, will there be anything from Donald Trump? Because, I mean, his embassies are closed now, and currently they are protected by the SAPS. They can't even protect their own police stations. They employ private security companies, which is a majority white people, to protect their police stations. And now they're protecting the US Embassy. And I believe, I'm not sure of that fact, that the British and, not that it's worth anything, but the British and American embassies got the instruction to shoot to kill. Will there be any involvement by Donald Trump?
Okay, I can't talk for Donald Trump, but I can tell you from the sources I have that they're getting briefed every day on the situation in South Africa. Now, based on the fact that the British government and the US government, Canadian government, French government, they all have their embassies on high alert, and it is true, the information I was given is, and I cannot verify or deny, but the information I was given stated that the US government and the British government have given orders that if anybody tries to overrun their embassies, shoot to kill. I believe that Ramaphosa and Co. put the SAP there as a buffer to stop an international incident, should one occur. However, having said that, one's got to realize that I do not think that the world will allow what has been advocated by Ramaphosa, because he was called out as a liar by 5 nations. Germany was one of them, England, America, I think it was Sweden, and France, I'm not sure, I can't remember now. But 5 countries gave them a letter and said, you either stop this land reform or we will cut your foreign trade, which is 75% of all foreign trade into South Africa. He would be committing economical suicide if he did it. And this goes for Malema. He better realize what he's saying. And I will endeavor, as long as I live, if they cross a line, I will bring massive sanctions. I will cripple that government. If it's the last thing I do, I will cripple that government until they realize you either do it right. Two wrongs don't make a right. Apartheid was wrong, and this is wrong. And they're not going to get away with it. I don't care what anybody says. And yes, there is groups out there, and there's a lot more than the government realizes. If they cross the line, they're going to have a massive civil war. And the civil war, it will affect every single family in that country, black and white, minorities, everybody will suffer some way or some form, and the economy will collapse overnight. They got to realize they're making a terrible, terrible mistake. I've been in war. I've seen what happens. It's not nice. I believe that if Ramaphosa and co. cross the line, there will be an international intervention. There has to be. Right now, Trump is about to go into Venezuela for the same reason.
There's another thing. In the last 4, maybe 6 months, there's a massive UN peace force. I don't know exactly what they're called, but apparently they're based in Botswana and they're having military exercises with Southwest Africa, which we all know is bullshit. Botswana, where they're located, is in the middle and dispatchable to the Northern Cape, to, I would say, Northern Transvaal or Northern Transvaal area, and into Free State. As in not longer than an hour, any and everybody can be dispatched from Botswana, which is a good strategical point or place to be. Have you heard anything about that exercise? I don't believe it's an exercise. But anyway, to send 10,000 people to be a backup or something, it's not worth the exercise. That's one. And then the second thing, did you hear or find out anything about a massive, I won't call it a jail, it's a massive complex center that's been brought up very quietly in the last 4 years in the Northern Cape. It's like a camp where apparently 250,000 people can be kept. Do you know anything about that?
Well, let me start with the Botswana issue. There is a U.S. military base there, which is Marines. I believe they are Marsocs, they are Marine technicals. I heard there was a buildup of U.S. forces there. I do know that Germany has a number of frigates and a military base in Southwest Africa as well. And they're not too happy about the situation in South Africa either, because they've just rebuilt all the roads, harbors, and hydroelectric system back up to scratch. They don't want that destroyed, and they can see them taking issue with that. I do believe that there was a U.S. force of 4,000. They came to South Africa. They're somewhere in the Orange Free State in a small camp. And there was also a group in Botswana, I don't know if they moved back to Botswana, but I do believe has been a buildup of military force there. And Russia is in Zimbabwe. Plus with China, so it's just a nice old cooking pot for something that's going to happen, should there be an issue. Now, as for the camp, I'm unaware of this camp, and if anybody's got more information I'd like to know, that would be a very interesting thing. I would like to add about these farm murders. To all the farmers out there, please paint your windows so they can't shoot you through the window. Do not go outside for a baby crying or the tap leaking or the police calling you or can you help me or can you come outside, or if you hear a noise or if the dog's barking or you hear cats making noises, do not go outside. If I was you, I'd go get frogs and put them in dead frogs and put them in jars and hang them all around your house. It's an omen against. It actually puts evil spirits. So it's just an idea. Also, talk to your workers, your domestic workers on your farms. They know what's going on. They're aware what's about to happen. They're frightened. There's a lot more to this. And also to the farmers. Anybody that's out of work that needs a job, I suggest that these farmers take them on their farms, build shacks, build houses, build something, put them in your barn, but put more people around your farms. It will help you. And more people you have, the less you're going to be attacked.
Look, Radio Worldwide thanks you for your time and for your backup and your support. We really do appreciate that. I've listened to your YouTube channel, very interesting, very informative, and very fact-based. Radio Worldwide is based on facts. We are not a racist organization or radio station. We don't join or have any political party. We don't do the hate speech thing. We do facts. Thank you very much once again for your time.
Thank you for having me, and I appreciate it. Please go to my YouTube channel. Just call me Hawk and subscribe. The more we can get the message out, the better. We really need this message to go out to everybody out there. Be safe. Vote for the right people. Consider what's best for all of you. And I wish you well. And I hope for the best. Godspeed.